of science fiction.
Hello and welcome to another episode of It Could Have Been a Classic. And we're going to be talking about 1980s, I don't know, drop, sink, bomb, whatever it was, flops, sunk, and re-emerged many years later to raise the Titanic, starring Francis from Logan's Run, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Archer, the dude from Falcon's Crest, and Jason Robards as the hard-ass Admiral Sandecker. And in this film we have the Russians being up to no good, conspiracies, Byzantium, and the whole Cold War saga of why they raised the Titanic. And my God, we're going to go on a journey with this one. I mean, this is a film, right? This is a film where you saw the trailer and you saw the fucking boat coming out of the ocean. Do you know what I mean? So you're thinking to yourself, well, I've seen it. Because the whole dramatic effect of to raise the Titanic is to watch it come out of the water. And they got that wrong, didn't they? They totally got it wrong. And in Lou Grade's epic words, it would have been cheaper to raise it than make this film. So To Raise the Titanic is based on a novel by Clive Cussler, who created a character called Dirk Pitt. He wrote Sahara and Iceberg and a whole series of books about this like Bondish type character. There's a lot of stuff in the sea. He's quite an interesting character, is Dirk Pitt. I mean, the name itself, Dirk. I mean, you know, this to come out with these names. But he's quite a character, and I can see why they're trying to get a film franchise off. Now, when Lou Grade financed this at the 40 million, he did sign up for 2 sequels. And as far as I know, there's only been 2 Dirk Pitt movies made. There was Sahara. Clive Cussler took that to court. I don't know why, but it all went through courts. Clive Cussler has nothing to do with this film. This is his creation. And Lou Grade, I don't know, I don't think he did say the film, he thought it was quite good, but like I said, it would have been cheaper to raise it. And I have to say they got this so wrong. Do you know what I mean? When James Cameron went down there and found it, now I've been fascinated by the Titanic, as we all are. And then when we actually got to see it in the ocean, it was split into 2 parts and all that. It was fascinating, we were all hooked. When this lot raised it, it were all in one piece, and do you know what I mean? Now, the story to this is sort of quite good. Now, the book, what Clive Cussler wrote, was a big hit, and I can see why. But when they got hold of the screenplay, they really, I don't know if they messed it up. I have a love-hate relationship with this film. Now, it cost 40 million, I think they spent 15 million on effects, and it only took 7 million at the cinema. And I was one of them people that went to see this with my family. And I'm telling you, they were not happy when they walked out of that cinema. I remember I was bored shitless watching it. I was a kid at the time. So, the story is that there's an element called Byzantium. It was found around the time of the Titanic. It was found off this island, which it belongs to everybody. One day Russia owns it, and then Norway owns it. And, you know, it's one of them places. But they mined it, and they found this like radioactive element called Byzantium. And the American military, like back in the past, in the Victorian times, at that time, were interested in the uses of it. So we jump ahead 70, 80 years later. In comes Dirk Pitt and Admiral Sandecker, right? And there's this scientist, the dude from Falcon's Crest, and he's working on something called Sicilian Project, and what it is, something warfare that it creates a Byzantium shield around America, and so nobody can attack it. You have these stations based all around certain locations, and it creates an invisible shield or something. And they come across it. It starts at the beginning. Dirk Pitt, there's this guy who's doing a runner, who's an engineer, and we get loads of politics of important people and Admiral Sandecker. Dirk Pitt turns up and kills this Russian and helps this like spy. and they've got the information, and it's not there. All the Byzanium from this mine's gone. But there's a letter, thank God for Southby. Now that is the crucial thing, them words in this movie. And they work out that Southby were being pursued by foreign agents across England. And he got to Southampton, and they think he put it on the Titanic. And then it sunk. And that's it, that's the basic story. So Dirt Pit says, look, why don't we just bring it up at the taxpayer's expense? No reason to the public. Now the Russians are shitting themselves, and they leak it to the American press because they work out what the Americans are up to. You know, with this Sicilian project. And it's like the Russians turn up watching. They send this big fleet of ships out there, and it's like an hour or whatever of finding it. One at mini sub blows up, then some crew gets stuck next to the Titanic in a mini sub. But don't worry, Dirt Pit's on the job. And they raise it. And it's like 8 minutes of it coming out of water. Now, John Barry did the score for this, and I have to say, the score is what keeps you locked onto this film. Because John Barry's a musical genius, and the music is exemplary, and I think that's the thing that kept me focused on this. Now, this film is all over YouTube, so you can watch it. And I bet most people don't even remember this film. So that's the basic story. Now, you've got J.D. Cannon in this. You remember him, who was McLeod's boss, and he's been in The Invaders. He's hard ass as usual, playing like an American military leader. And the scientist guy, the dude from Falcon's Crest, it all comes out, his missus were at it with Dirt Pit a couple of years ago, but I think they split up because of Dirt Pit, because he's been dirking it around. So, like, this whole film, a lot of politics going on and all this, and boring underwater scenes. I mean, the model scene of it coming out of the water, I have to say, is quite good. Right, but there's something lacking in this movie. Now, the book is a massive hit. It sold globally, but the film, there's just, I don't know. I really don't know what, like, it's missing. So there's no pizzazz with it. And I have to say, I mean, you've got Alec Guinness in this. I mean, he's only in a bit part. Well, so, like, Dirt Pit and this scientist dude, they go to this village. Well, Dirt Pit goes to this village in Cornwall. He speaks to one survivor who met the secret agent on the Titanic, who were trying to get into boxes of this Byzanium. But when they raised it, they broke into Rome. Well, as they raised it, they were trying to get in, but the Russians turned up with a warship and said, look, you know, there's a storm coming. Well, you can all come aboard our ship and we'll take you back to America. And like this admiral says, well, no, you're not doing that. And Russians like, you know, well, we're here to help. And then Russian says, well, also, we're here for Byzanium. We know what you're doing. And it belongs to us because it was stolen from our territory. And, you know, we will sink the ship to keep the balance of power to defend, you know, Russia. So, like, you know, Dirt Pit says to Admiral, bring on the package. And out of the water comes a nuclear submarine. And they back off, the Russians. And they take the Titanic back to America, and they weld through the doors, and they get into the room, and the Byzanium's not there. So, like, billions of dollars of expense, right, of raising it, it's not there. And then, sort of like, the scientist guy in from Falcon's Crest, he's not happy, because that's his whole life. And then Admiral Sandecker turned round and said, well, you know, we'll let you go along with your delusion of building a force field. But if somebody gets hold of Byzanium, they're going to build a Byzanium bomb, and we want to be the first, so have it. And even Dirt Pit's a bit shocked at this. He thought, well, you know, what's going on here? Now, wouldn't it be better to have a force field that can protect you than a new type of bomb? because obviously there's going to be ramifications with that one. So like, they're both gutted. Admiral clears off, and you know, nobody's asking questions. I mean, media, you know, why are you raising the Titanic? But the media find out in the film that there's this element on board, but the American government's denying it. But they've raised the Titanic. This is what I mean. They didn't really cover the post in this very well. So the film suddenly does not become plausible at this moment. Well, problem is then, it's like Dirt Pit gets a letter and it says thank God for Southby, and there's a postcard what they found on Titanic in this room. And it ends up, they all thought Southby was a person. It's a village. And him and the guy from Falcon's Crest, I don't know his name. I've seen him around on TV over years. And they go to Southby, the village, and they go to this grave of this some person. And he pulls out his radiation detector, and there it is. After all that, the Byzanium's there. Dirt Pit gives him the moral question. He said, do you want this stuff? Or should we just leave it there and keep the world at peace? Because if one side has this, and they both make the decision that I think you do feel for the Falcon Crest guy, who's the scientist that wanted to build his force field. He's like, leave it, and then nobody will ever know it's there except him and Dirt Pit. And that's it. That's the whole fucking movie, right? That honestly, that's it. Now, there were moments in this I were bored shitless. And the question is, you know, nobody really talks about to raise the Titanic, well, except me, you know, because that's what we do here at Couldve Been a Classic. So now people are going to say to me, Martin, it's not a science fiction film, but it is fantasy. So it does come under the banner of sci-fi and fantasy before anybody says anything different. So should I put it through? Should I make this a classic? Fuck it, I'm going to put it through. No, I am. I'm going to put this film through. I'm going to tell you why. You've got an exemplary cast. And I mean, they spent 15 million on special effects on this. And even the film is totally shit. You know, and it is fucking awful. But there's something, I mean, I watched it all. And I was quite interested. And I do sort of like the story to it. And I think they're good enough reasons. And they really tried doing something adventurous here to get this new franchise off the ground. Even though it sunk faster than the Titanic when it got released. So I'm going to put this through. I think for once, I'm going to give this a bit of credit, this movie. And I was forced to see it as a kid. So, raise the Titanic. You're going through. Very slowly. You'll get through eventually, but you are a classic. So give this video a like. Let me know your thoughts. And please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Live long and prosper.